Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
A living legend.
Philly's own.
And South Carolina's own. We claim her too,
Philly's own.
Okay. Head coach for the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks.
What you claim? Philly or South Carolina?
I work in South Carolina, but I'm from Philly. I have to tell people all the time, like, I just work here.
There you go.
I just work here. Philly.
Dawn Staley. Good morning.
Dawn Staley.
Staley. I said, what I say? Staley? Staley.
Yes.
Dawn Staley. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate this.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
How does it feel to be the first black coach, male or female, to win 2 Division I national championships? Like, you literally are Black history.
I actually did not know that until social media told me.
Wow.
Really?
Afterwards, yeah, I didn't know that. Like, you know, you win one and you just think, you know, what a feat. But then to win 2 and then to be a part of history, I didn't know. I didn't know, but it feels great.
Why do you think you're the only one though?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard for black coaches. Black coaches don't really get a, real opportunity to be successful. You gotta hit it. Like, even at South Carolina, we didn't get that good until like 3 years in. But the AD knew it would take about 3 years, and I'm looking at him like he's crazy. Like, I don't have 3 years to get ready. But the state of the program was such that it took a while to get some recruits in there to really get the thing rolling.
So basically, they had to give you an opportunity to get successful. Yeah.
It's. I mean, how long it take you guys to get this?
It took
Like 2 years.
We still haven't got there.
2 years.
Just 2 years.
Longer than that? 2-3 years to really get it going?
Yeah, first year we sucked. They were
But you
talking
gotta
about
think we're
firing
also
us.
on every single day, 5 days a week, like nonstop of trying to get better. And
Yep.
That's the same thing as
Yeah.
coaching.
Yeah.
Like, we're 7 days a week. We gotta. You don't get that, that opportunity, but when you do, like, people are gonna try to be like y'all.
right.
Well, let's talk about the start, because you started off as a player. So let's talk about your start as a player and what made you want to coach. Because you said it was so difficult, so hard to get in.
And you didn't even want to be a coach at first.
I did not. Well, I mean, I've been very fortunate. I grew up in North Philly, in the projects in North Philly. So in Philly, so it's a lifestyle. Sports is a lifestyle. So you grow up, you watch, the Sixers, the Flyers, Phillies, everybody, and then you live out your dream in the hood. Like, I played football, I played basketball, I played softball, I played baseball. So I was just really into sports, and that, fortunately for me, I used that to just kind of occupy, because you can get into a whole lot of things growing up in the city. And then I got my first college letter from it was actually from like Dartmouth
University,
Yeah, I would not have survived there from an academic standpoint. Athletically, yeah. And then I was like, hey, I think I got something. I can do something. I'm pretty good at this basketball thing. And then you don't realize how good you are until you go outside of Philly, and people verify that you're pretty good. And once I had the storied basketball career, you think you're going to play forever, and then somebody saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and that was coaching. I didn't want to be a coach. Like, I had great coaches, but I didn't see myself being a coach, and especially being a coach. I've been a coach now for 22 years, so when I was 29, 30, I was still playing in the WNBA. So I'm like, I can't be responsible for, young people that are just near my age, because I'm 30, they're 18 to 22. I'm younger than their parents. I just felt the responsibility of being responsible for them was overwhelming. And then I got challenged to turn the Temple women's basketball program around. And then I never looked at it as a challenge. And when I did, I was like, hook, line, and sinker, let me go do this.
Who was the first person that saw it in you and said, you know what, you got the ability to be a coach?
Everybody used to say it, as a player, but I never saw it for myself until the AD. He's deceased now, but I always give him credit for just approaching me with it and finding the very thing that drives me, and that's challenges. So when he did that, I was like, oh, like, and he suckered me into it too. Like, he did. Like, the Final Four was in Philly in 2000. I was with the U.S. Olympic team training there. We had a scrimmage, and he said, "Well, won't you just come over and just basically tell me no?" So I'm like, "I'm from Philly. I can't. It's hometown. Let me walk over there and speak with him." And then he sat me down, asked me 2 questions. One was, "Can you lead?" And I'm like, "I'm basically the captain on every team that I've been on. I'm a point guard. That's my position." So I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "Can you turn this women's basketball program around?" And I was like, "Was that a challenge?" And I didn't answer. And then he told me can you just kind of walk down the hall with me, to meet some other people? And I'm walking down the hall. Like, I've never been on an interview. This became an interview, and I didn't even know it. So I walked down the hall, went into the conference room, and it's like 10 to 12 people sitting around this conference room, and they sit me at the head of the table, and they just started firing questions. Like, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years? And I'm just like, playing. I'm still playing.
At this point, you're still playing.
Right.
I'm playing, yes.
Playing and coaching.
Yeah. So I'm just like, not really giving them the answers that they want.
You didn't really have any.
I didn't. I had a job. I didn't really need a job.
You guys are recruiting me.
Right. So, I mean, I think they really liked the frankness of my answers. And, I mean, 2 weeks later, I took the job. And it's been like my second skin. Like, I know I help a lot of young people by being a dream merchant for them, but I get gratification when yesterday I was at the WNBA draft.
Destiny Henderson.
Yeah, she got drafted 20th in the draft. I thought she went a little late, but she's a fighter. To be in this place of seeing my players' faces when they're able to check off a lifelong dream, is so gratifying. Like,
So that's why it was important for you to be here this year? Yeah.
That's why it's important.
How was it in the beginning when you first started as getting adjusted as a coach?
I just treated it like a huddle. Like, I'm a point guard, so I usually control the huddles. So I just treated everything like a huddle. Like, I'm just speaking on what I see, what we need to do. And then once we started playing games, there are like long timeouts, like media timeouts. They're like 2.5 minutes. And I would be done in like 30 seconds. And we'd just be sitting there like, I'm like, all right, I'm done. And they look at me like, you're actually supposed to be saying more than what you're saying. But I was done. But now, being 22 years, and I can fill up a media timeout and then some.
Now, going to South Carolina, how was that leaving Philly and taking that position?
Yeah. Well, I thought when we left Philly, Temple, we could never get past the second round in the NCAA tournament. Like, we would lose in the first or second round because we didn't have the talent. We could outwork you, but we got out-talented. And I, being a competitor that I am, I wanted to win a national championship. And I didn't think we could do it at Temple because I didn't think we could get people to come to the city. Like, it's North Philly. And it's, if you're a parent, you shy away from sending your kid. Yeah. So then I went to South Carolina because it was a traditional campus, pretty cool city. Like, it's a cool city. Out of all the southern cities, it's a pretty nice city.
Love the Metro.
Yeah. And I just thought we could pull in some talent being there. But the first 3 years, I thought it was professional suicide.
Really?
Seriously. Yeah, we didn't have players. And the players that we had didn't really understand what we were trying to accomplish. They thought it was like a hobby. Like, do we got to practice every day? Do we have to do this? Now that they see what the program has been as successful as we have, they see it differently. They come back and they see this is what you were trying to get us to do, and it's beautiful though to see the evolution of our program.
I love how you big up all your players. Even when y'all won this year, you bigged up everybody that sat on the bench. So I want to ask, how important was Asia Wilson, the change in the culture of the Lady Gamecocks?
I mean, Asia pretty much just, she was the number one high school player in the country, just in little old South Carolina. And, there were other bigger programs that were coming after her. And I just felt like she could be the one that really turned it. We were positioning ourselves to progress. But when we got her, it meant it meant more to our program because she legitimized our program, being the number one, staying at home, believing in our vision for her and our vision for our program. Like it really wasn't Asia. It was a mom that really was the one that said, you know, she tried to say, I'm going to go somewhere else besides South Carolina. And her mom was like, well, you go down there and you tell Dawn, MF, and Staley that you ain't going. Seriously. That's what she said. You go down there, you tell her, because I'm not. But I think we put Asia in a position where it was hard for her to tell us no, because we had a great crowd. You know, we were going to the NCAA tournament, and we were nearing, like, getting to the Final Four and winning a national championship. So, you know, now she's got a statue there. Statue, like, if Asia wanted to come back, she could probably run for mayor, governor. Easily. So I'm glad she did it in her hometown, and she put us on the map, and we're keeping her legacy alive.
Did your relationship with the Carolinas start with being drafted by the Charlottes thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
actually. Well, no, because my parents are from South Carolina. Both parents were born in Swansea, North South Carolina. So I used to come to the country. We call it the country every summer. So when I decided to come back, I wanted to bring my mom back to to her home state, because all of my all of her siblings still lived in South Carolina. So it was kind of good to bring everybody back to the to where everything started.
Now, when you got a 7-year, $22.4 million contract,
Why are you all in her pocket?
it was a thing. She's the highest paid
She's
black
still
head
from Philly.
coach in
She's
women's
still from
NCAA
Philly.
basketball history. It was out there, right? How do you live in South Carolina with that? Like,
How do I mean, I'm not
how
driven
big is
by
the
money.
house, Dawn?
It's big. It's big, but like I'm a part of it. Like they've received me so well in South Carolina that
Absolutely.
that I'm rooted there now. I'm rooted. Like it will be like I've had opportunities to leave, but the pull, the people of South Carolina have been like tremendous. Like my alma mater's called a few times, but we've built it, and it would be hard for me to leave and give somebody, our hard work of putting South Carolina on the map and just being one of the most storied programs in the country now.
Yeah, I mean, why would you leave? I mean, I think about people like, Pat Summitt, how long she was at Tennessee. What's Gino's last name for UConn?
Ariema?
Yeah, how long they've been there. Why would you leave?
There's not a good reason.
Yeah.
You find it crazy that, you played in the WNBA, but it feels like college women's basketball gets way more hype than professional women's basketball.
It takes time, the NBA, if you graded the NBA on their first 25 years,
That's right.
they're probably in the same place as the WNBA. So if we just keep investing, like there's an investment in college women's basketball, no matter how little or big we think, there is an investment. We're on TV all the time. We're on, we're streamed. I get a chance to make a whole lot of money. Other coaches make a whole lot of money. So there's an investment. There's not an investment like that at the WNBA level yet. I think it's building towards that. And I think now the league is at a place where there's only 144 jobs in the WNBA. Somebody's missing out. Like, great players are going to be at home doing nothing or going overseas to play.
You started in the beginning of the WNBA, right? Weren't you?
I actually started in the ABL.
Oh.
There were 2 professional women's basketball teams that started after our 96 Olympic team. So the ABL, which I played for 2 years, and it was played during the traditional basketball season, like in the fall and winter. And then I switched over in 99 because I had bad knees. I still got bad knees. So I went over to the WNBA in the shorter season. So Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Rebecca Lobo, they all, jumped on board with the WNBA.
What was that like? Like, because I guess, if you're a woman basketball player, you think there's a ceiling, right? So when the WNBA came, what was that feeling like?
I mean, it was cool. Like, the more the merrier, that you can give women an opportunity to play during the prime of their careers. Like for most of our legends, Teresa Edwards and, the Katrina McClains, they had to go overseas to play. Like they build their careers and their money going overseas to play. And that's what I had to do when I left college in 1992. There wasn't a WNBA, so I went overseas and sucked it up. I didn't really like it, but
Where did you play overseas?
I played in Segovia, Spain. I played in France, Tarbes, France, and then I did some stints in Brazil and another stint in Spain. It was decent money, but I'm a homebody.
Right.
I used to have like two. Now it's not like today. Like today, they got the internet, they got FaceTime. We just had a landline.
Right, and that was probably so expensive too.
Two
to make those
$2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. That's like a tenth of my salary.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people blame the WNBA for Brittney Griner's situation. Like the WNBA should be ashamed of itself because the players shouldn't have to go overseas, to make money. What do you think about that?
Well, I think overseas, honestly, have been the way to go because you can make money, you can make a living. The WNBA usually is a league that supplements that. I think the WNBA is growing. It's growing. Yes, Brittney had to go overseas to earn a she's been making 7 figures for, probably 7-8 years now. And for her to have to do that is disheartening. And we're prayerful that she gets back to us because it's it's not a pretty situation that she's in, but we'll keep her in our prayers.
What do you think about endorsement money now too coming in? Do you see that improving as we're watching the WNBA grow?
Now I'm gonna tell you this: like there's a such thing called NIL, name, image, and likeness on the collegiate level. Like our players are making money.
No, they're making a lot of money.
They're making more money than most WNBA players. Like the top level WNBA players, Sue Bird, Brandon Stewart, Asia Wilson, they make money. But if you take a couple of players off our team at South Carolina, the Leah Bosons, Isaiah Cooks, our team makes a lot of money. They probably make more money than any other athlete on our campus. Wow. Which is pretty cool that women can hold that spot.
Does it make it harder to coach them? Being that, they getting money, like, why, like, why they going to listen to Coach there?
That's true. Yeah. For this year, no. But I think as it grows, it feels like this offseason feels more like a pro team. Like having exit meetings. It feels like a pro team that you got to really talk about how you compartmentalize your branding and your ability to perform at a high level. But it's also, a training ground for the next level, the WNBA level. You're going to have to juggle all these things. And I actually like it because, life is full of everything. It's full of social, it's full of making money, it's full of, your craft as an professional athlete. You're going to have to be able to manage all that.
Are those conversations you have with them about finances and how to make sure that you protect yourself?
I at the beginning of the year, this is what I did. July 1st is when it passed. The NIL rule passed. And I sent a text out to our group, our team, and I was like, hey, any of you all want me to help you secure an agent? I know a lot of agents. Let me know. And then the ones that wanted me to help them, I set up Zoom calls with agents and their parents. And it was a week of just 24 hours just trying to get them secure, because I didn't want this to interfere with. We had a good team, like we were a national champion contender, so I didn't want that part of it to interfere with this. So we did it early. We did it probably in August and September. So by October, everybody had whoever they wanted to represent them, and then everything that came up with anything with branding and endorsements went right to their agents. Right. So I didn't have to feel any of it, which was pretty good.
How do you keep somebody like Aaliyah's coming back, right?
She is.
How do you keep somebody like her motivated? Because she had such a monster year, won the national championship. There's really nothing else for her to prove. Like, so how do you keep her motivated?
You know, she's got that Kobe mentality. Like Kobe was a greedy athlete. Like he wanted it all. Like Aaliyah wants it all. Like she wants to etch her name. Like if you, the first interview she had when she came to South Carolina, and you get the comparisons to Asia Wilson. She's like, I don't want to be Asia Wilson. I want to be Aaliyah Boston. And I thought that was a strong statement. Like her first interview, and then for her to do some things that Asia Wilson wasn't able to do. Like she, you know, she got all the Player of the Year. She swept the whole thing. She's built like that. She wants to win again. She wants to win the National Player of the Year awards again. When you have someone as special as her, and I do think she's a generational talent. I do believe, you know, a lot of people, you know, tend to give that adjective to like guards that, you know, maybe shoot from, you know, threes, or, you know, they're just super athletic. But she's a 6'5". I don't know her weight because she lost about 25 pounds before the season. You know, there aren't very many players that get better, like in front of your very eyes. Like she got better every single year. So she's just built like that.
She's gonna be a #1 draft pick. She made me feel old too, because I was like, I've never seen somebody so motivated by a meme.
Right.
It's like that meme motivated her all year long.
You know, players like Aaliyah, like, and she's very sweet. Like she's a nice, and sometimes nice people don't get what they deserve because they'll just say, oh, it's okay. So we're in the Bahamas, and she just had probably a 25-8 game, something that I think is normal for her. But I'm just like, you know, I embarrassed her a little bit because I said, do you know why I want you to be dominant? And she was like, so we can win the national championship? I said, yeah, that's part of it. I said, you know, go a little deeper. And she was like, no. I said, because do you see that picture they put up, that meme they put up every time there's something with women's basketball, the one of you crying? So I said, I'm motivated by you turning that frown into a smile, into happy tears. So you got to go be dominant. And I knew we were going to play Oregon and Connecticut the next 2 days in that tournament. And from that day on, she's been dominant.
Wow.
I know I hurt her feelings. I know she went to her parents, but I hit her parents up before. I did. I said I got in her pretty good. So y'all might need to just kind of, you know, be parents, shower her with some love, you know, but I got in her. And I have really good relationships with our parents. Like, those are the people that I talk to the most, because those are the people that have the most just interaction with their daughters.
Right.
And if I can get to them and get the messaging right, we don't have any problems.
Do you have social media rules when it comes to the players?
I used to. You know, maybe probably 2-3 years ago, where we just wanted to give it up for the season. But then I'm looking at it like, this is their livelihood. This is what they do. I want them to capture their college careers the way they want to. Right. And they've been pretty good about, and the NIL thing helps too, because they don't want to post something. They don't want to mess that up. Right. So, you know, we bend a little bit with that, and you know, we're cautious with telling them, you know, some of them post some crazy stuff, you know, like. So I just screenshot and sent it to them. I was like, this is how you want your brand to be represented? Right. And then they get it.
I was going to ask, you know, when you was coming up as a player, I'm sure coaches were hard. I remember as a kid, coaches were hard. They cursed at you. They talked to you crazy. But can you do that? Are players more sensitive now? You got to watch how you talk to kids. You got to more with kids' gloves on them when you have those conversations.
Well, you know, for fussing and cussing.
Yeah. I'm myself. Like I fuss, I cuss, you know, but I balance it. Like, that can't be all who you are. Like, I balance it. Like, if they mess up in practice, I'm fussing and cussing. If they do something great, I'm like chest bumping and high-fiving and doing all of that. I think I just balance it with, you know, it's very much like raising a kid. Like, there's good behavior, you know, that you have to let your kid know, and there's bad behavior, like you got to slap their wrist and tell them, no, don't do that. And we're at a place where our players, they respect me and I respect them. Like, they allow me to be my authentic self. And not all coaches can't do that. They really can't. You got to watch what you say, watch what you do. But what I do is I communicate with our parents, everybody that has a significant part in our players' lives, boyfriends, girlfriends, or whatever. I'm talking to them. Because it is, you can't shield them all from, you can't shield yourself all from the people that play a significant role in their lives. You can't. Because it's almost like those NBA players. Like, if I'm an NBA coach, I would be talking to the wives, the girlfriends, the whoever is in their
Corner.
Yeah, I would. Like,
It's the type of position where it is a real personal relationship too.
It's all relationship based.
Right.
It's totally relationship based.
It's like a family, it seems like.
Families, you get at your family too. Like, that's what it is. The good, the bad, the ugly, but at the heart of it is you want the best for them. Like, you want I want nothing but, to have nights like Destiny Henderson had last night.
I've heard your coaching style described as holistic.
I mean, I've never heard that one.
Yeah, I read. It was an article I was reading. What was that? I forgot what paper that was, but it was like you have I think it was ESPN or USA Today. You have a holistic approach to coaching.
I think I'm too old to just I say what I feel. I don't hurt anybody's feelings, but I address whatever's on my heart to address and move on. I don't remember a whole lot. I tell our players I don't remember a whole lot. After I address it, I'm done with it. Let's keep it moving. And then I think our players really like it. I think we sell young people short in that, believing that they just want to hear what's good. Like, we sell them short. Like, I think it's more popular now to be a part of a program that really just tells it like it is. Like, it wasn't always popular though. Young people wanted to hear how good they were, and you can do this, and you can sell them, this outlandish dream. Like, I kind of coach from a worst case scenario. This is the worst thing that could happen. Anything else, like last year this time, I had my end of the year meetings, and I said to some players, like, the worst case is you don't get off that bench. Like, we got a good team coming back. You might not even get any reps in practice. Like, I've just paint that picture of,
Wow.
But you sign up for it. That's what you signed up for. I don't want it to be that way, but if you don't rise with this cream, then you're gonna be that. And that's why I shout out the people that didn't play a whole lot, because they sat a whole lot. They had the jobs that not that they're not popular. You don't get to talk to the media. You don't even get to showcase your talent on social media, because that's a big part of what they do, because they didn't play a whole lot. So I like to keep them happy, because they are a big part of what we do, and but it's a role that they had to play for us, and not the popular one. But all teams have those players, and if you don't keep them happy and you don't value them, then they can start the grumblings during the wrong times of the season.
How hard was it to just let go of the 2020 season? 'Cause I think at the time y'all were number one. People were saying y'all might win the national championship that year. How hard was it just to let that go?
I mean, it was hard to let it go for this very reason, because we were the number one team in the country for the last 9 weeks of the season, but you wouldn't know it, because there was a different narrative out there created for other teams that they thought should have been number one, but they lost. So and from that, I actually did talk to a couple of ESPN people about, how now that the bottom fell out, we were the number one team in the country. You didn't promote our team in that way, and then they came back probably 45 minutes after that. I went into that coach mode, coach mode of just bad behavior. So I had that conversation. It was kind of it wasn't one that could be played on your show. About that.
You know,
Right.
when it comes to you and the Lady Gamecocks, there's nothing to talk about except basketball, but it seems like they try to always find other things to talk about. You think that's just because you're a black woman?
You know, I don't know, but you can only assume because they're not going to come out and say that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like after the championship, there was a stat put up like we were the team that scored the least of all national championship teams, and I was like,
What's the point of that?
like,
Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
What does
what's
that
the
got to
point
do
of that?
what's that got to do with anything? Look at our defense. We're probably a very historical defensive team in the whole scheme of things, but I don't know why they choose to do that. But it is something that maybe it's because I don't know. You know, it's hard for people to market black people. They claim they don't know how to, when it's just very similar. Or just stick with the facts.
Right.
If you
Yeah,
just stick with
yeah,
the
yeah.
facts, it's easy to market a team.
If you can market mediocrity, you can market greatness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
it shouldn't be that
accomplishments.
hard.
Yes, that is it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a fight that we're going to continue to fight, but you know, as long as we keep making history, they're going to have to keep saying something about us.
Yeah, I read the article in the Charlotte Observer about Isaac Bailey, and the headline was South Carolina's Don Staley shows grace in the face of unfair questions, and it was about you having to answer the criticism that the Lady Gamecocks were unpatriotic because the national anthem wasn't played or something like that.
No, what happened was in our semifinals game, the national anthem was played at 12 on the clock. And our pregame ritual, we're not on the floor at 12. So we weren't out there. And the Louisville team was out there. And I didn't really realize it until afterwards. And then there was this big article that came out in between the semis and the championship game. And it's like, you know, I mean,
Like it was an intentional.
Right.
it seemed that way.
Right.
Yeah, it seemed that way. And then I didn't respond to it. I didn't say anything because I didn't want it to be a distraction. Sometimes people put things out there to be a distraction to take
right.
you off of your goal and your preparation. So I saw it, but I did not mention it. I didn't say anything to our players.
It makes it a bigger story when you start responding.
Yeah, it
to
is.
things.
And then the national anthem for the championship game was played at 0. Like horn, 0, national anthem. We stood up. We did our thing. And if it was at 0 the game before, we would have been out there.
Right.
So don't get mad at us. Get mad at the people who chose to play the national anthem, at 12. So, but afterwards, after we won, I did mention it in my post-game press conference about why would you do that? And it was such filled with like untruths.
Right.
Like it was just an article that was written from what we did back in 2021. Like we weren't doing that this particular year, but she never took the time to ask the question. Like she seen me, the young lady. And then from that, other articles came out. And then from that, other politicians they want to join in and say how bad we are and unpatriotic. They hope we lose, and get the facts right. Just get the facts right. If we did something like that intentionally, I would tell you like, hey, we're not going to be out there because we're protesting. But it was not that at all.
I got 2 more questions. What would it take for the WNBA to provide bigger contracts for players?
You gotta invest in women. Like you gotta invest. Like it's companies. Like you know how many companies that invest in the NBA?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's gonna take.
You think more consumers coming to the games as well?
Yeah, I think that the attendance is on the rise, and I think people are watching the WNBA as well. So it's more of I think it's TV.
I think they're doing a docu-series or something too. From what I've seen, there's some docu-series going on. I think things like that help.
It does. You got to tell the story. Like there are some great things that are happening within the league, but you have to market it that way. You have to promote it that way. And I think the president of the WNBA is doing a great job. I think they actually they raised about $75 million over the past year. Oh. So that says a lot that the league is in a place where it's marketable. What they do with the $75 million, I don't know, but hopefully it is putting some more money in the players' pockets.
Now I remember back in the day you appeared on the episode of Martin. When the USA women's basketball team had to play Martin and his crew. Martin was playing against Gina, but he didn't know Gina was bringing all of y'all.
Right. Listen, I'm more known for the Martin show than probably basketball. Seriously. Wow. Like everywhere I go, it's like
because they still rerun it.
Right. Yeah. Yes. I mean that was actually the best. Like we had the best time, and I didn't know what went into a show. Like
and everything.
Yeah, like we flew in like on a Monday and didn't do any. And then Tuesday we just sat around the table and read our lines, and that was it. And then like Wednesday, Thursday is when they actually do the show. Like you're doing the acting part of it. But Martin was cool. He took us to his house, both his houses. One right in L.A. where he had a basketball court and we played with him.
Y'all played for real that time?
Yeah, we played on his court. But I didn't. Martin played with gloves on.
Gloves?
Like the football sticky gloves.
Why?
I didn't know. I didn't ask either.
Did y'all bust their ass?
We didn't ask, no. But he was balling.
Okay.
He was balling in them, but I didn't know.
With gloves on?
With gloves on.
Did y'all beat them when y'all played on his court?
I mean, we were just playing. It was just all of us. It wasn't like the
a real competition.
Yeah,
like
it was mixed.
Mixed.
And none of y'all asked him why you wearing gloves, bro?
No.
Like we're guessing your home, right?
But you enjoyed the experience.
Oh, the best.
Yeah.
Like the best. And you grow up watching Martin.
That's right.
Right? So you only know them as Pam and Gina.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like for you to call them they're like their names on the show. They like for you to call them their real names.
Tisha and Tashina.
Yeah. But you only know them as
right. That's
Pam
how
and
I
Gina.
do.
So you saw them, you excited. You like, yo, Pam and Gina.
They're like, excuse me, I'm Tashina.
Yeah, Tashina. They don't like that at all. But it was a pretty cool experience. I hope they bring the show back. Like,
Are you doing a Don Staley movie?
No, not that I know of.
Nobody's approached you? Like,
no.
We got to tell this story?
Books. But no stories. I haven't agreed to do a book either. Mm-hmm. I got to do it because I'm forgetting everything.
Right. Now's the time.
Yep.
Statue on the way, too, I'm sure.
No.
You don't want that?
No. Let's get the players that. I don't let the players do that.
Yeah.
I don't want anything besides our players getting, generational wealth. That's all I want.
You probably inspired a lot of young women to want to be a coach, though, also.
I mentor a whole lot. Like, I mentor a whole lot of young coaches who they just want to be great. They want an opportunity. Mm-hmm. So as much as I can, I'll tweet. If they got my phone number, they can reach out to me, and I'm just helping. I owe basketball. Like, I owe basketball, a debt that I probably won't be able to repay.
You're doing it now, though.
I am, but the more I do it, the more things come to me. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man.
Philly's
Coach
own.
Don. No, Philly and South Carolina's own. Okay. Her parents from South Carolina.
Beanie Siegel and Meek Mill.
Ooh, you can't make me. You can't. Beanie got to start it. Okay. I got to go with both. I got to go with both. North Philly,
That's
though.
not
They
a bad
both North
answer.
Philly.
They both North
Philly.
Coach Don Staley, we appreciate you. Especially for the powerhouse you building in South Carolina. We've never had anything like that, so it's exciting to watch. And that's my wife's alma mater, so.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yep.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.